My name is Amanda Outley. I am the online research librarian here at Regis. I work with the online program. I work with anyone who has questions for that matter. But I will be sending out site news posts periodically throughout the semester to share information, share tips and tricks. But we wanted to have a little opportunity for people who are new to Regis or who don't feel like they necessarily understand all of the different resources that we have available, to just have an opportunity to see a good demonstration of everything and ask questions if they'd like. And Tricia is my colleague at the library, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tricia Reinhardt. My official title is Information Services Director. It's basically a fancy title for research librarian. I help students find research one-on-one in sessions like these. I go into classes as well. Been in the library field for about 20 years now, which I can't even believe. That feels like such a long time. But I started as a work study student actually at my alma mater and have worked my way up to here. And I got into the library business so I could help people find the information that they need. And I really like the teaching aspect of that. So I'm happy to be here today to do just that.
Awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over and start sharing my screen so that we can just talk through a couple different things. Well, a variety of things, really. So, if you are brand new to Regis, one of the important things to know is how do you find the library's website? So there are a lot of different ways that you can get there. One, the simplest thing that you can do on the Regis website is click over here on the menu, and there's an option here for library under academic. Now, we also have it available as a link in Moodle. So if you're in the online program, you would click right there under library, Regis Library. If you are in an on-ground program, we also made sure that there's a link there. We like to make sure that you can find us. The last thing is that within Spike, which is that student resources portal, there is a link for library resources. And that mimics a lot of what you see on our own homepage. So certainly an option as well. But from within the library's actual website, there's a lot of things going on here. So you have our Power Search box here. We have our links to the databases, links to physical books, our research guides. You're able to look at journals by title, a link to RefWorks, and Contact Us. Now, I'll start by just saying Contact Us is an important link. What that gives you is our current research assistance hours. So we update this frequently, although we probably can get rid of the Labor Day bit now.
It's been a busy week. I'll I'll get on that tomorrow.
But as things change, we do update it. So importantly, we have extended availability during the academic year. So if you ever have questions, you need a librarian to answer a question about a citation, or how do I find this source, or this link is broken, there's usually someone around until fairly well into the evening. So we have someone available until 10 o'clock at night, Monday through Thursday, Fridays until 5, Saturday 10 to 8, and Sunday noon to 10. So important to know the hours. Also important to see that we have a form that you can fill out to schedule an actual appointment to meet with a librarian. So if you want to actually work one-on-one with a librarian, or need to have a consultation about your citations, this form is the best way to make that appointment. You can click right there and it will have you fill out a little bit more information about your work, what you're currently researching, and etc. Also, important link for our email address at the reference desk. And if you actually wanted to call us, there's usually someone who can answer the phone there as well. But there's also other information down here as well. Just to note that library hours are listed here, interlibrary loan information, and etc. But for our case, we want to talk about how you can get started with your research. One of the simplest things that you can do to get started doing research at Regis is to use Power Search. Now, what Power Search does is it tries to search most of our databases all in one go. And we subscribe to about 70, so it can be a lot. and it covers a wide swath of different topics. So everything from nursing to education to business. It's a great way to think very broadly about a topic because you're able to sort of harvest information from a very broad scope of topics. But on the flip side, because you're getting so much information from so many different places, you do have to layer in additional filters and really refine your results carefully to make it a manageable list. So let's just put something in here. I've been doing a lot of demonstrations on nursing leadership topics lately. So I always like to start with just a broad statement of the first aspect of my topic. And actually, I might even change this once we get in. But when you click search, what it will do is it'll launch you into our advanced search screen. A lot of our databases are going to look very much like this. This is what we call an EBSCO-based database. EBSCO is a database provider. Not only does PowerSearch look like this, CINAHL will look like this, Academic Search Complete, ERIC. So the why that means anything at all to you as a student, as a researcher, is that you're going to have the same look and feel with these different EBSCO databases. So it's not as though you need to learn from scratch, well, where do I put my search terms? Where do I use my filters? It's going to be a very similar experience. The other point is that you can sign up for a free EBSCO account, which is a way to organize your research and keep track of articles. But we'll come back to that in a second. So what you get in this advanced search screen is a series of different boxes where you can start to build up your search. I always like to treat these boxes as separate components of my research question. I find that it helps me make sure that I'm accounting for each of the different variables in a clear way. You can build an entire search all in one line. Starts to look a little bit like a mathematical equation, sort of PEMDAS in the order of operations. So it's doable. But it sort of can start to turn into this very gnarly looking thing. So I personally always like to keep everything separate. So just using the words nursing leadership, I've got 137,000 some odd articles. Now, clearly you can't, filter through that all by yourself. So you need to add additional search terms. So maybe, if I were to say style or trait or characteristic, and you'll see here, this is one of the other features of an EBSCO database, but they like to give you popular terms. That can be helpful to help you consider additional synonyms for your search. But you have to remember that these are just popular terms that a lot of users have been using. So sometimes they can skew off in a very strange direction. So something that can be helpful, but also be mindful about what is actually contained in the string. But we add that in. So now I've got a sizable swath down. The other important thing to consider in these databases is how do you layer in additional filters? How do you limit your results to meet the expectations of your assignment? So a lot of times you'll need to find scholarly or peer-reviewed articles. So you can check that off over there on the left. And what that actually means, however, is that your results are going to be all from, or rather all published within scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. Not everything, however, in a scholarly or peer-reviewed journal is actually peer-reviewed. Sometimes you'll have book reviews or editorials or commentaries. So you do still need to do a little bit of consideration when you're looking at your search results. A lot of times as you're looking at the list of results, you'll see notices like, or little details that say, okay, this is an article, it was systematic review. Okay, I'm just going to scan through here. I'm not seeing anything jump out at me that looks like that, but you'll often see something in the description there that'll tell you that it's an article. For the most part, this filter does a good job of that, but every once in a while. So you just need to make sure that you're paying attention. Other important filters might be to use full text. So if you're working on an assignment that has a very short time table, you might want to limit your results to things that are available immediately for you, things that are already held within the library's collection. So I don't have that checked off right now. And as you can see, the first couple results here have this request from Interlibrary Loan link. So Interlibrary Loan is a free service. It runs Monday through Friday. So we don't have anybody working on that in the weekend. And it usually takes about 3 business days for an article to be returned. It's closer to 24 to 48 hours for the most part. but it's a little bit outside of our control to some degree, how fast it can come back, because we are relying on a partner library somewhere else that's willing to share it with us. So if you are working on a short timetable, you might not want to rely on something that you're hoping will come in time. However, if you're working on a longer term research assignment, then I would certainly take advantage of that. You should never have to pay for an article. So we're happy to have you use that, but you might want to consider the constraints of your assignment. So maybe we'll add that in. The other big filter is the publication date. A lot of assignments will need you to have the most recent and most up-to-date research. So oftentimes you'll hear, I only want to see articles published within the last 5 years, or 3 years, or 2 years. It may depend on your instructor. It may depend on the assignment. So let's say we want to see just the last 5 years. So we've gone from, what was it, almost 130, 150, somewhere around there. And we've already chopped it down to about 2,600. So it starts to get creep down, starts to become a little bit more manageable. Naturally, you'll want to add additional terms as well to restrict your results to something that's more specific to your topic. There are plenty of other filters that you can use. So perhaps you say, okay, I just want academic journals. Or you can say, use the geography function so that you could say, all right, I'm interested in things from the US or, the United States. These can be a little bit wonky sometimes. So I might use one of these boxes up at the top and say, United States or America, or, and expand out with synonyms to describe the US in order to get that same effect. But as we're looking at our search results, if we select one, what you typically will see is this detailed record. The detailed record is important to look at because not only are you getting information about your authors and your abstract, but you're also getting information about how has this article been described. And this can really point you in some interesting directions to sort of improve your own search terms and improve your own sort of vocabulary that you're using to describe your topic. You'll also have an option to access the article, whether it's available as a PDF or as a HTML file. That should allow you to get access to the article. Let me go back to this detailed record for a second. Other things that you have on this page too are your tools. So there are different things that you can do here as well. So for instance, if you wanted to email that article to yourself, or if you wanted to check and see a preview of what the citation should look like, well, let me click on that. And if you scroll down a little bit, there's an option for APA 7th edition, which is most programs are using this as their citation style. The important thing to remember about any citation program, whether it's EBSCO's site program, EBSCO site here, or RefWorks or Zotero or any of them, is that none of them get it right 100% of the time. So you have to, so long as you're coming into it with the expectation that you need to look it over and double check, any of these programs can be a great resource to help you sort of start to see like, okay, everything's sort of formatted generally in the right, the information is in the right position, things like that. This one in particular, what's wrong actually with it is that it included the publisher's name in the journal title, and you wouldn't want to use that. But everything else about it looks like it's actually gotten it pretty well. It's done a pretty good job. You don't often see it being that perfect. So just proofread it is ultimately what it is. It's just double check. But it gets you a lot, it gets you part of the way there. The other thing too is that you never want to use this web address at the top of the browser. That's just a temporary number. It will not last. You will want to use this permalink here if you wanted to save the article, as opposed to emailing it to yourself, or just printing it off, or saving the PDF to your desktop. So let's go back to the results list. Sometimes you'll have articles that will have links like this that say available full text. If you click on that, what that will do is it'll take you to the full text finder results, which will give you sort of whatever access point we have for this article. So any of these should work. Fingers crossed that I've not made myself been dishonest on that, but yes, there we go. So it's taken us to our access point for the article. So one of the things I mentioned before was that you can sign up for a free EBSCO account. So what that is when you click up here where it says sign in, sign up, it will say, oh, welcome back. If you don't have a user account set up, you can sign up for one. We recommend just anytime you're signing up for any kind of account related to the library to use your Regis email. It may not be as required for this EBSCO account, but I know for a fact that if you want to sign up for an up-to-date account, you need to make sure that you're using your Regis email. If you're signing up for a RefWorks account, which Tricia will talk about further in a little bit, you need to use your Regis email. That's because we have an institutional account for these things, so that institutional subscription, that is. So you want to make sure that you're being recognized as an authorized Regis user. But hopefully I've signed into this right. Save my password, too many passwords. Okay, so now that I've signed into my EBSCO account, there are a couple of different things that you can do. EBSCO accounts help you save searches. They help you save, articles. It can help you sort of keep track of what you've already found. So now that I've signed in, there's this little folder icon in my search results. So let's say I wanted to save this article for myself. I can just click on this little folder and save it. You can create different folders within your EBSCO account for different classes, different topics. I'll just save it into this example folder. And I can also save this entire search to my folder as well. So let's say, I've been working on this for a while. I need to take a break. I can't even bear to look at it anymore. But I want to be able to jump right back into it very easily. So I could add this search to a folder. And I think it should have done that. Another way that you can save a search, so you could just save the permalink for yourself if you don't really want to get involved in having accounts and saving things in this system. You could just save the permalink for yourself. But another way that I particularly like is if you click on search history here, what that will tell you is all of the different terms that you've tried and the filters that you've used within a given search session. I believe, I don't know that I know exactly how long that session is. One of the reasons that it's so important to keep track of things as you go is that after a certain amount of time, your session, that you leave your computer sort of unattended or a window unattended, that search session will time out. So if you try to sort of jump right back into it, it'll give you an error message. It'll tell you that you need to sign into EBSCOhost or some crazy thing like that. So it's always good to sort of save things as you go, keep track of things as you go. So here, I can click where it says Save Searches and Alerts. And I'll give it a little title. Nursing Leadership, click Save. And here it's telling me actually all of the different databases that it was trying to search. A lot of these are going to be completely irrelevant to our search results, but sort of interesting to see all of the different things that PowerSearch looks at. All right, so here in my folder, here's my saved search. I can click. Is this the most recent one? I can click Retrieve Search, and I can click Rerun, and that will let me jump right back into the search that I was previously doing. Of course, I need to hide that now. Another thing that you can do as well with your EBSCO account is you can save, you can set up an email alert for yourself. That can be useful if you're tracking a topic over an extended period of time. You don't always want to be constantly rerunning your search over and over and over again. If you need to be updated about anything new that's being published on a topic, you can go over here where it says email alert, and you can set it to maybe every other week, maybe once a month, maybe things that were published within the last 1 month, 2 months. I sometimes leave it a little bit broad because you never know how fast they're updating the system. And you can save the alert. And so what that's done is it's taken my search terms and it's taken the filters that I've layered in, and I'll get a little digest in my email of anything new that fits my search parameters. You can also access your folder from right up here. So this is just my folder. Here are my custom folders that I've been sort of using for different demonstrations over time. So I can click on articles. Now, I run some of these searches, months and months and months ago, but they're still available to me. I can still click on something about substance use disorder and stigma and still be able to jump right back into it, even though I honestly can't even remember the last time I ran that search. So it can be useful in terms of keeping track of things over time. The other useful thing about EBSCO accounts is that they're all linked. So whether you're using PowerSearch or you're using Academic Search Complete or you're using CINAHL, it's all one account. So you don't have to recreate the wheel and have manage multiple usernames and passwords all over the place. I can't stand how many username and passwords that I have to remember these days. Okay, so let me go back a little bit here. One of the other things that you'll see on PowerSearch is that you'll notice that they'll always tell you what database your search results are coming from. So you'll notice in here, after all this information about the authors, the journal, it says database. So this came from ScienceDirect. This one came from CINAHL Ultimate. ScienceDirect, there's a lot of those in here. Open access journals. So PowerSearch is a great system to look at things broadly, but sometimes it can be useful to look at a subject-specific database, which will start you from within the context of a given topic. So for instance, CINAHL, which is our most popular database for nursing and allied health research and one that many people will use, has a lot of different filters and limiters and different added features that you don't find in PowerSearch. So you can get a lot more specific and a lot more granular with some of the research that you can do with a subject database over PowerSearch. PowerSearch is great to sort of start your project. It can help you evaluate where you're going to find results as well. So as I've scrolled down here on the left, it has this listing about databases searched. And if I click show more, that's going to tell me where most of my search results are coming from. So I've got a lot from Medline with this one, a lot from CINAHL Ultimate, a pretty respectable amount from Academic Search Complete. So that tells me that those might be good databases to look at more specifically, that I can use some of the extra filters, the subject terms that are unique to the different databases to further refine my search, to sort of further target certain types of information. That's sort of useful rather than trying to sort of choose a database at random to sort of say, oh, I hope that there's something in this one. This can sort of help you sort of evaluate how are you going to best spend your time. So just to shift gears a little bit, if I go over to my database list, there is in fact 70 databases right now. So you can scroll through this if you want. You can also filter it by subject. We've sort of highlighted different databases that we think will be useful for different programs. For argument's sake, we'll open up the nursing graduate one. And here are some of our best bets. Now, Academic Search Complete was one of those ones that popped up in our PowerSearch before. It's an interdisciplinary database, so it covers a variety of different subject areas, but we get access to a lot of interesting journals from there that you might not run into otherwise. But for demonstration's sake, let's open up CINAHL. So as you can see, it's another EBSCO type database, so it has that sort of same kind of general appearance and general sense of this is where the different filters are and things like that. So if we put in our topic, characteristic, you'll see that there's a lot of extra advanced filters here for CINAHL. So I can already highlight and say, all right, peer review journal. I can set my date range. I could even say full text. all from the get-go, but there's all these extra things as well. I usually recommend not applying those right off the bat if you don't need to. It's better to sort of see where you are, evaluate what you've found already, and then sort of slowly, layer in additional filters. I like that approach because it lets you sort of be mindful about how the different search terms affect and the different filters affect the results list. A little bit fewer than I would have expected. I might switch this. So the thing about databases is that they're very literal. They're not like Google. They don't anticipate your needs. You do have to be very, spell out what it is that you're looking for. So that's why, the synonyms are so important. So I'm just trying this out just to see if that changes my results. I don't know that it will. What I've done there is I've used a truncation. So it did have an effect. You could write nurse or nurses or nursing because you want to account for all of those things. It's not just, nursing leadership. It could be leadership of nurses, nurse leaders. There's a lot of different ways, and actually that might be a good thing to change. I digress. That's a clear demonstration of that the search process is, it's trial and error. It's testing things out. It's not the first thing that you try is not necessarily going to be the last. But I digressed a little bit there. I used a truncation. So basically that is to take the root of a word, take off any endings, and add an asterisk. So by taking those first 4 letters, NURS, all of the nurse or nurses or nursing, all of those had those in common, so that I'm able to search for all of those variables without having to write it all out. It's a shortcut. So that did change our search results a little bit. Now I can click back here on advanced search, and I can actually go back and add some of these different filters. So maybe I was interested in finding, a geographic subset. Maybe I'm interested in an article that was actually written by a nurse, or sometimes you might be interested in finding a systematic review. So you can actually look at your publication type here, and you can say, I'd like to see a meta-analysis, maybe a meta-synthesis, and very small systematic review. So I can select all of those things, and what that will do is it'll filter out my results just things that are of that publication type. So, that can be an interesting way to filter it out. You also have the ability to add in subject terms. We're just using keywords right now. Keywords can really appear anywhere in the record. One good example is I was working with a student who was looking for information about the Amish as a vulnerable health population. If you just put in the word Amish, just as a keyword, in PowerSearch, it comes up with all sorts of random clinical trials that have absolutely nothing to do with the Amish people. And we looked at them for a little bit and we couldn't understand why. It was because one of the authors' name was Amish. So keywords really can go all over the place. So sometimes it can be useful to add in the subject term. Subject terms are going to be a way to really narrow your search results very carefully. That what they mean, much like their name suggests, is that it's going to be a important concept, an important subject in the article. So as you look at your search results here, you'll see that they've listed different subjects that you can add in as a search term. That will give you specific results, but sometimes they can be too specific. So it's definitely a balancing act between using keywords, using subject terms, trying to be as expansive as possible. It depends a little bit about what you're looking for. As I mentioned before, same EBSCO account, so I can click sign in, and it will probably make me sign in again. And it thinks about it a little bit. But same account, so I could just, save it, add this to my folder, and it still remembers my different folders. So that's sort of a quick overview of the, searching on the databases, searching in PowerSearch. Any questions at all so far? So, all right, well, I'm going to let Trisha share some information about some of our other useful library resources.
And feel free to pop in any questions in the chat as we're going too. We'll check the chat and answer as any questions come up. So I'm gonna share my screen now. And first I'm gonna start, and I run the same search that Amanda did so we can match with our demonstrations. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about RefWorks. And RefWorks is, if you haven't heard of it before, it's a citation management tool that we have, we subscribe to through the library, and you can import citations from the databases as well as search for citations within it and formulate a bibliography or a references list if you're doing APA style, which I think most people are in the health sciences field. So if the first thing you'll want to do, if you haven't already, and if you're interested in using it, is to set up a RefWorks account. And okay, we have a question about Google Scholar. I'll answer that in just a second as soon as I go through how to do an account here. So so you can go into, we make it easy for you. We have a RefWorks button right here. You can also get to it in the list of databases as well. But when we click on this, it will take you to our RefWorks research guide, which I will talk about. I'll talk about our research guides and what they mean in the scope of the library resources. But you can come here, it'll talk about some of the stuff I'm going to show you today, so feel free to come back to it if you need a review. But you can also access it through here. And so we've made it very easy for you right on the first page here. When you click on this, it will take, it might log me in because I was just using this. So let me log out so I can show you what it looks like when you first click on it. So so you'll see this to start. If you don't already have an account, you'll want to make sure that you create one. Down here is this little gray link. It's not as noticeable, but you want to make sure you click on this one and not the use login from my institution, because you have to create an account. You don't already have a login that's connected to it. So when you hit create account, you want to make sure that you are using your Regis email, because that is we subscribe to it. And so if you put any other email in here, it won't recognize you and it won't allow you to set up an account. So you put in your Regis email and you'll hit check, and then it will take you through the account creation process. And once you have your account, then you'll sign in here. And I already have my information saved because I have a lot of logins as well. And I have a hard time remembering them sometimes. So it's just easier to save them. And what? Hold on. Maybe I clicked on something by accident and changed the password. What is this? Hold on a second. Of course this would do this to me, because let me try this again. I'm going to go in to RefWorks. Okay, there we go. I don't know what I did. I clicked on something, I deleted some, I'm not sure what I did, but here we are. And so here is my RefWorks account. Yours is going to look a little different if it's your first time using it, because I've used this for a lot of demonstrations. So this is probably a more atypical RefWorks account. But I have my folders over here, so you can, similarly to EBSCO, you can add custom folders based on the projects that you're working on, or the papers, or different pieces. If you're working on your SPP, you can, the different pieces of your SPP. And so once you, and I have a demo one here that I've been using. And so you can, there's a few different ways you can get your citations in here. So you can create one manually. So let's say you have a bunch of sources that you're using, and you just created a RefWorks account, and now you want to get these citations into RefWorks. So this is one way to do it. You can create a new reference, and then you just have to select which type of reference it is. Mostly it'll be journal article. And then you want to put in the title of the article. So I'm just going to pick something here. I'm going to copy and paste this article title. That. And then there's a little lightning bolt on the side, and it's to find and complete a reference using this title. So when I click on this, it will pop out a little search down the bottom here. And it will, you just have to look through and pick the one that matches. This first one looks like the article that I'm looking for. So when you click on this, it will fill in all the citation information for you. It gives you the abstract too. That's not really part of the citation. It's just an extra bonus. But it'll fill in publication date, volume number, fills in the, let's call it the URL, but the DOI number. And if there's anything missing that you've noticed, so, you know, let's say this doesn't have the issue number, it may not have an issue number. Yeah, I'm not seeing an issue number here, but if it did have an issue number, you'd want to fill that in here. Because Amanda mentioned, none of these are 100%. So you still have to do a little bit of finagling at times. So once I have this, I'm going to hit save. And here is my record that I just found and created. And so if you ever needed to edit it for whatever reason, you just click on it and then you hit the little pen here, and then you can edit it. You can add in the DOI if the DOI is missing. If you want to add tags to it so it's easy to find later, you can do that as well. Is RefWorks a good tool for a literature matrix? Yes, I think it would be, because it's a good way to start. I know with the literature matrix, you have to fill in, you know, what type of study it is, and all those different pieces, but it's definitely a really good tool to help you start the collection and keeping track of the sources to then plug into your literature matrix. So
I'd also add that, as you can see those little tags in Trisha's results there, you can edit those. You can create your own tags, so that if you wanted to just make a quick note for yourself, this is my quantitative article, this is my qualitative article, you can actually edit that and sort of make it your own system as well. Those tags are just auto-populated from the database, but you can sort of customize it to fit your own needs.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, you know, if you are searching in the databases at the point of research, you can also export citations from the databases into RefWorks. So that's why I have my search here, so I can demonstrate that. So, you know, let's say you have this one here. This one is one that you're interested in using in your paper, and you want to keep track of that. When you click on it and you go back over to the tools where Amanda was before for the permalink And the site, you can go to export here. And so we have it set to default to RefWorks because that's the citation management tool that we subscribe to here. But you can certainly use this with any citation management tool that you currently use or choose to use. So you can direct export it to other tools. I'm learning a little bit more about Zotero recently, and you can direct export to it, but you need to have the plugin installed in your browser for it to work. So each tool might have a little bit of a different direct export process. But for the purpose of, because I'm showing you RefWorks, we're going to direct export it to RefWorks. So I'm going to hit save, and of course, nothing is working for me. We've had some minor database glitches a little earlier today. I wonder if they're running an update. So bear with us while we work through. Let's try this again. Oh, it's not going to work for me, is it? I'm going to rerun the search. I'm going to choose another one. And we'll try this again. I think it's going to do it. It's going to do it. Okay. So you may see this message, yes, export to the newest version of RefWorks. There really is only one version of RefWorks. They're in the process of deactivating a previous version called Legacy RefWorks. So that's why you might see this. But I mean, all you have to do is just hit yes, export to the newest version of RefWorks. And because I'm coming from the databases, it is making me sign in again, which is fine. And so here it is ready to import. So if I had a folder that I wanted to put it in, which I do, I'll put it in this demo folder, I'll choose it. If you don't have any folders yet, that's okay. It'll just put it in a folder called not in folder, just as a reminder for you to put it in a folder at some point. And then I'll hit import. And okay. And then it's going to take me to, oh boy. Everything is breaking today for me. It should take me to my last imported folder. But I'm just going to go to demo. So I'm going to go to my folder, and here's that article that I imported, and see it imported over with all of the citation information, as well as the abstract and some tags that you can use to organize if that's how you so choose to organize. It has a DOI, which is great because sometimes that DOI is missing. It comes over without the DOI. So in that case, you would just want to edit, find the DOI and copy and paste it into the record before you formulate a bibliography, which I'm going to show you now. So, here's my list of references. I am ready to copy and paste this into, create a bibliography and copy and paste it into my paper. So I'm going to select them all. I'm going to go to create bibliography and create bibliography. And so we have this defaulted to APA 7th because that's the majority of people who are using RefWorks and who are citing things on campus are using APA. But you can certainly, they have numerous other citation styles. I mean, MLA, Chicago, whatever you're using, you can search for and change this. But here's my bibliography. And this is actually looking pretty good. RefWorks does a pretty good job at, especially with the formatting, because sometimes what you'll see is the, especially with the article titles, you'll see it in title case instead of sentence case, which is how it's supposed to be. But RefWorks does a pretty good job with translating that. So now I can copy this and then paste it into my paper. And if there were any minor errors, you could edit it within your paper after you've pasted it. But it makes the process, it gets you started. It makes the process much easier than trying to hand type out all of the citations and how do I cite this and what if it doesn't have that. RefWorks kind of gets that started for you. Now, if you would prefer something to work with you as you are writing your paper, there is a tool called RefWorks Citation Manager that you can, so if you go to tools and then the tools here, you can, if you have Word 2016 and above, you can go to the Microsoft Store in Word and install it into your Word. And I can actually show you because I am, when I'm at work, they lock it down so that I can't install anything. But I'm at home and I have it on my Word here, so I can just show you really briefly what it looks like. Because basically you sign into it and you can insert citations as you are paraphrasing or quoting, and then create that bibliography at the end. Here we go. So let me just give this a moment. Everyone, are you guys seeing my Word? Is that popping up? Awesome. Okay. So I actually have it already installed on my computer, but you would go to Insert on your, and I believe it's add-ins, and then Get add-ins. Although if you are on a Microsoft, it'll actually say Store. It'll have a little button up there for Store so that you can get into the store. And then you search for RefWorks and you add it into the plugin into your Word, and then it shows up just like this. And this is just a notice it gives about if you edit any of the citations as you're going. So here are my citations here. And so as I'm typing, I am phrasing something. And so I say, oh, I used this author here. So I can hit cite this, and it cites it for you as it should look in the text here. And so you can keep doing that as you're going. Just going to do a few of them. Just pretend there's a paper here with citations. And then you go to the three little bars when you're done citing and doing what you need to do. And right now the bibliography is off because you're currently typing your paper up. But once you turn it on, it will then format a references list for you here. And now this one here is a little funky. This one should have the DOI instead of this database URL. So that's something you would want to take out, find the DOI link and insert that in. And also the Zambia, I believe, should be capital Z. Yep. So it's just little stuff like that you just have to triple check, understand what a citation should look like, and use your best judgment. Like obviously Zambia should be capitalized. It's a proper noun. And then just tweak it in it. And it's easier than trying to hand type out all the citations. It really gets you started. So I know we had a question. I don't want to forget to answer about Google Scholar. So what place does Google Scholar hold in the scope of research? I once requested an article through Interlibrary Loan and got an email that I should get the article from Google Scholar. Yes, that's a great question. And we do check Google Scholar when we get an interlibrary loan request, because there frequently it is available through Google Scholar. And so it's just easier than trying to request it from another library. Sometimes we have to pay copyright on them. So if it's open access and free through Google Scholar, you can do a couple of things with that. If you are searching in the databases at the time. So I'm going to go back to my results list here. You can go ahead and if you see a request from Interlibrary Loan, now I can't guarantee that any of these are going to be available right now, but we can give it a try. I'll just show you the mechanics of it. So if you see a request from Interlibrary Loan, just a quick copy and paste into Google Scholar. And if it had open access or PDF available, if you've used Google Scholar, this probably sounds familiar. It would show over here. And then you would be able to get it instantly. You can also, so just to show you how to work with Google Scholar, if you're searching Google Scholar and you want to see if there's items in here that we have in our collection that you can then get back to. Right now I have this set up on my Google Scholar, this link that pops up for anything that it senses that we have. So to set that up, you go over to the three little bars here and you go to settings. And then under settings, there's a library links. And then I already have mine searched for and checked off here, but you would see open WorldCat library search. You want to keep that on, checked at all times. That's always there, always checked on. That's the main component of the search. But you wouldn't see the Regis College Library, so you would just search for it, and then it would show up like this. You check it off and you hit save, and then you'll see this Find at Regis College. But there's also, just really quickly, I'll mention something I use a lot because I sometimes fill in for Interlibrary Loan. And I do the checking in Google Scholar. There is a plugin. There's actually a Google Scholar plugin that you can get. You just go to the Chrome store if you use Chrome. This is Chrome, and you can install this Google Scholar plugin. And then as you're searching in the databases, and you see something that is request from Interlibrary Loan, just highlight, and then you press the little, and then it pops up here. And if there's any open access PDF links, they'll show up here. You can click on that and it'll just take you right to the Google Scholar search. So you can see all the results there. So did that answer your question, Luana? Does that make sense? Okay. So that, there's many different ways of searching. Of course, we're going to encourage you to search in the databases, but you can certainly use Google Scholar as well, and just use those tools and tips and tricks in conjunction with the library databases. So I know we're running short on time. I'm just going to show you research guides really quickly and point out a couple that are that you'll definitely want to bookmark. So back at the library homepage, so we've done databases, we've done RefWorks, we've done Contact Us, how to get in touch with us. But here's this research guides one. When you click on that, similarly to the databases, these are organized by subject. So you could scroll down to, let's say, nursing graduate, you're in the graduate nursing program. Click on this. And these are just some suggested research guides that we think would be really helpful for those in the graduate nursing program. The number one guide we have, and the one you're going to want to bookmark, is the APA style guide. It's, if you've used Purdue OWL before, it's similar to that. It's basically a comprehensive, but not complete. You still want to get that manual, but comprehensive, user-friendly tool to just how to format, how do I cite this? What are we up to today? 136,000 views. It is our most popular guide. And so it takes you through formatting the paper. We have templates in here. We have a checklist as well, but we have templates, student template and professional template, depending on what your program is requiring. And you can download this and, you know, how do I format my paper? This will point everything out to you, how it's supposed to be formatted. And especially reference examples. You know, how do I cite a journal article? So we have journal article with a DOI, without a DOI, number of authors. If there's no pages, how do I cite that? That sort of thing. So definitely, if you're going to look at any research guide in this entire list, look at the APA one because it's popular for a reason. But feel free to peruse any of the research guides within your subject or your program. And they're just point of reference guides for any class you're in. We have ones for specific classes, ones for citing, copyright and permissions if you're doing your DMP and need that validated tool. How do I get permission for that? That sort of thing. So does anyone have any other questions about anything we've covered so far? We don't want to take up too much of your time. Glad to
Okay,
hear.
well, yeah, I'm glad to hear. Definitely glad to hear
it's
it.
helpful.
Research guides, you know, just to reiterate what Tricia said, they are great if you ever feel stuck. So, you know, if you're ever feeling like, you know, I don't know what to do, I don't, you know, I saw somebody do a demonstration about how to do the search, but I don't remember all the things that they did. We have library video tutorials in there. We have sort of just ways that you can sort of, you know, just they can sort of trigger and bring to mind, oh, that's a great idea. I forgot about that entirely. They can be sort of a nice, you know, resource to look at if you ever feel stuck on a topic. So thank you everyone for coming. We're going to be, you know, editing the video with the subtitles. So we'll hopefully have that out maybe tomorrow, definitely by Monday.
Definitely by Monday.
Definitely by Monday.
Yes, definitely by Monday. It's been a busy week.
So please feel free to reach out to us with any questions. We're always happy to help. Have a good night.